Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching IPO Adda, and my guest today, or the company in focus today, is DCX Systems. It's a company in the defense and aerospace segment. One of the largest offset players as well. And joining me is Mr. H.S. Raghavendra Rao, who is the uh, promoter of the company, and Mr. Sankarakrishnan Ramalingam, who is the whole-time director of the company. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime. To begin with, Mr. Rao, give us a sense of your business model, what kind of work the company does, and which are the segments which it caters to.
Sir, namaste. My name is Raghavendra. I'm the promoter of DCX Systems Limited. And the area of business, what we are catering to, we are in the aerospace and defense sectors. And we are catering to all three major areas of Army, Navy, Air Force. And we are the largest offset partners for this offset, Indian offset business and also non-offset business. We are catering majority to Israelis. OEMs from the where they're getting order from India, they had to take the offset participate in India. So for the IA group, we are the largest offset partner. We are doing system integration, cable and wire harness system, and catering to the all aerospace and defense sectors. This is our type of business we are doing in the DCX today. And any other thing you want to know about it, please let me know on the in detail.
Okay, so let me get into the thing. Your IPO, which is coming with a price band of 197 to 207, opens between October 31st and November 2, gives you a market value of nearly 2,000 odd crores. Now you're coming with a 400 crore issue, which is a fresh issue, and 100 crores of offer for sale by the promoter entities. Tell me, how are you going to use the fresh issue proceeds?
Yeah, this 400 crore, 100 crore go to two promoters, 50 crores to NCBG and my foreign partner, and 50 crores goes to VNG Technologies. And out of 400 crores for the company, fresh issue, and it will go 110 crore for repayment of payment to bank. Secondly, 160 crore for additional working capital, and 45 crores we are going to invest on our wholly owned subsidiary for EMS specific capex requirement. Best is rest of the thing is goes on a general corpus fund and other expenditures.
Okay, Mr. Ramalingam, come in here. What is the kind of debt on the books?
As of March 22 published numbers, we had about 467 crores of short-term borrowing, which is mainly packing credit in foreign currency in nature on a tenor of about 90 to 180 days, which is basically a self-liquidating liability in nature. So 467 crores was the short-term borrowing.
No
we
long-term
don't have
borrowing?
any long-term borrowings at all.
So you're going to use a part of the proceeds to pay off the short-term borrowings and augment working capital and working capital.
Yeah, 110 crores is going towards repayment of the short-term borrowings. About 160 crores we are taking from the IPO proceeds for basically augmenting long-term working capital requirements for various projects in the company.
Give me a sense of what is the kind of receivable days which is there for you, because in defense that's the biggest issue with many of the companies, that the cycles are longer and the repayments cycles are also longer. So what is the kind of average receivable days which you have?
So typically ours is basically a model where though we are in aerospace and defense, we don't get into we don't have any supplies or any direct contact with the MOD India, like a product companies which you see in the country as most of the listed peers. Ours is a unique model. I would probably define DCX as a two-star export house from an SEZ, totally into 100% of exports to OEM customers as a contract OEM manufacturer. So we are an exporter. We happen to be in aerospace and defense.
And how many days?
Typically, our cycle is about 90 to 120 days.
90 to 120 days, which is the cycle which is there.
Yeah.
And this working capital which is coming in will help in augmenting and helping you in the entire cycle, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, it is a unique thing. You are one of the largest offset partners, but according to the defense acquisition policy, the offset guidelines have also changed. Now, for buy global, offsets are required if it's more than 2,000 odd crores. How does it change your life?
Let me answer the question. And it is a very good move. We are all proud for an Indian defense company. The government of India had taken a big initiative on the Make in India and Atmanirbhar. The 2,000 crore tender, it should not be a global. Okay, you can take any tenders going out of the G2G, government to government contract. It is in a big way. It is in the billions. So we are catering as we are the largest IOP partner. Our POs coming to the major, presently about 7 years in the journey. We target, or my customer will going to give all the G2G orders. It will be in big value wise G2G offset will be applicable. And less than 2,000 crores also, nothing India is going to do the Make in India program. There are many foreign OEMs have a JV in India. We can supply within India also. For those companies where I have a JV, they have a technology transfer partner in India, we can still, because of our expertise and the model we are working, still we are supplier for this 2,000 crore within India tender also, we can participate, especially in Bharat Electronics and other big PSUs also, we are supplying it. Secondly, for a more than a 2,000 crores, and you can history of DCX, we cater majority of the big offset players in the big order where the billions dollars is going to the other country. Definitely, we are having a more participate in those tenders and those opportunities.
So, correct me, Mr. Rao. For the G2G orders which are coming from the government, they are unique. Either they have done on a government to government basis, or it is done through an emergency buying basis, which is
Yes.
which has been done.
Yeah.
And if you are looking at a global markets as a whole, are you getting orders which is from the OEM for the global sales as well? Or is it limited only to the G2G part of it?
No, that is a uniqueness in the DCX. One is the regular offset or G2G order, we are getting priority. Secondly, even though you can see my last year turnover, 65% of the overall revenue, 65% goes with the main offset. 45% I am doing for a non-offset business also. That means the OEM, the 7 years journey of the quality of product and the technology what we adapted, even the some country, let us take Israel, he get an order from the other country where they doesn't have offset obligations. Still, those orders also I am executing in here, in India. Those orders also, they will going to take it into the India. There is a benefit for them. They can do the offset banking for a future orders. And secondly, the whole consumption of Israel, the majority of those consumption, home consumption comes to our company or any other offset player in India, because of the line is set, the quality of product is set, that line continuation, more business. So we are not doing only on the Indian offset, we are doing other non-offset business also using our existing and technology process. So we are participating in the global tender and non-global tender, and also this offset for other countries not required. We do those product also in our company.
So your direct exposure from a country point of view is Israel. What is the kind of exposure that you have to Israel?
Israel in last year we had totally my revenue versus my this thing. You are talking about the
revenue and percentage wise.
65%. We are single concentrated on 65% on Israel.
And of that, IAA group would be how much?
Maybe about 45.
And the remaining two top, because your top three customers account for nearly 85.7% in FY22.
Yeah.
What percentage of that is coming from other Israeli companies?
I can say about 20%, 18 to 20% from other Israeli companies. And also, yeah, out of 65, to be precise, you want, I can say about 48% from IA group. Around 18% from other groups.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. The government has put out this Make in India list, which is a
Yeah,
banned list, which is there, and
yeah,
increasingly over a period of time, they are phasing out uh, import of equipment or
yeah,
import technologies,
yeah,
unless it has been built in India with indigenous content, which is there.
yeah.
How does this entire thing impact you in that sense? Because as Mr. Ramalingam said, you're based out of SEZ and you're exporting fully.
Yeah.
So you will have to set up a domestic manufacturing units as well to cater to going forward if these the same thing are being undertaken in the domestic market.
So number one, this is actually big good news for Indian defense companies, where the promotion of Make in India and Atmanirbhar, MOD has released about 5 lists, about 408 line item has been announced as a embargo item. You should not import from other countries, should be Make in India. This is a very good move and a big move. I really appreciate that. And like our company, our target to achieve more than that. I will touch base later on that. So this product, what we are going to improve our main thing. Anyway, this let us take example. It is available in the public domain. Out of 408 line item, there are 65 line item belongs to IA Group. He is my major customer. 65 line item, roughly, I'm not about 18 to 20,000 crores of worth of, it is available in the public domain. 20,000 crores of equipment has been banned in the, not in the one shot, in the phase manner. So what we try to do with the Indian companies or DCX, and this will definitely come into, they will not going to lose the business about 20,000 crore or whatever the way we are talking about only the Israeli market. Definitely they have to weigh that Make in India program made it 3 way. Make two, make three. Make two matlab you can take a technology transfer, you can take a license to build, or you can have a JV 51% from India or 49 from the foreign OEM. That is allowed. The forcefully those foreign company has to come to India, align with us. So we are going to supply directly to our MOD, directly to our forces. This is a very big move, and there are very good visibility on the Indian offset player or Indian defense company. This is a fantastic move. This will going to not going to affect us. It will going to give you more visibility on our business. That's what I feel.
So, has your OEMs already started setting up operations in India?
Sir, I don't know exactly. There, of course, maybe and overall, I can say people are maybe talking to some people and they're planning. Otherwise, they lose business.
Okay. So, tell me what is the kind of order book you're sitting on as on June end?
About 2,600 crore, we are sitting on order book.
And this is spread over how many years?
2 years. 2 years.
So, what is the kind of average order flow every year for you?
About 1,100 crore, roughly.
Okay. And what about diversification beyond Israel? Because you have partners in Korea, you have partners in US as well. So what about those diversification? What kind of work you do for those geographies and those OEM?
We are working on with many company global requirement. We are in touch based small way. We have taken some small entry in Korea as well as the Israel and some of the small portion in US. We are working on to improve more on that.
Because you're in the sub electronic subsystems and harnesses, uh, I assume that this is primarily with respect to UAVs and other kind of missiles for which you are making these harnesses and electronic subsystems.
Yeah.
Uh, you haven't you been able to reach out to the US OEMs where products can be provided, you can provide products to them in that sense?
We are working on it, sir. We are working on it, and definitely there are chances are there. And my US office, anyway, my partner sits in US. He's working with the OEMs to take more benefit out of this. We are working on it on
So,
a serious way.
to tell us, sir, if you are you are one of the largest offset player in the country, and you are also providing all those uh, items for domestic, if as and when your partners and OEMs set up operations in India, what is the kind of expansion that you will have to do to meet that kind of target?
So general in the technological area is a general manufacturing setup, testability setup, and this all, if it is a technology transfer, we need to put up a separate plant and make the line ready and start manufacturing and supply. And India now, there are a lot of tier two suppliers there. Many things we can outsource, like mechanic and also I come out with a PCB assembly, the printed circuit board assembly, my own plant. So we are able to manage, and not much time or much money required to put up a plant, or taking time to launch. It should not be a problem.
Okay. Is there an application for that kind of technology in the civilian space, and whether it can be expanded to cater to the civilian market as well?
That can be done, sir. That can be, it is not a like going for some other thing. Yeah, that can be used for a multiple purpose.
And are you looking at that opportunity as well? Because India is also opening up PLIs and others for chips and semiconductors,
We are not in
electronic
that.
items.
We are not in that semiconductor business.
Okay. Mr. Ramalingam, give me a sense of the kind of margins that you do it sitting on, because if I'm not wrong, you had an EBITDA margin of nearly 6.1% in FY22, but in Q1 it was around 2.3%. Is there a margin fluctuation that happens on a quarter to quarter basis? What kind of margin band that we can look at?
I think till FY21, I think we were in the range of about 4.5%, 5% kind of margins. I would probably reckon that I think the milestone year for DCX was FY22, where we made significant inroads into the business model that we possess in the existing verticals of cable and wire harness and the system integration. So what we did was basically to acquire a large client called Bharat Electronics Limited in PSC in India, which bagged an order for a LASM, long-range surface-to-air missiles. And they had a limited transfer of technology, etc., from IAA Group. So because of the export licensing and the 7-year very credible established track record of DCX with IAA, we became a single vendor for supply to the modules for LASM project. We bagged an order of about 536 crores, out of which about 400 crores worth modules we delivered by March 22, and the remaining would go by December. And so if you look at the single vendorship and the penetration that we were able to make in the PSU, we had a clear 275 basis points up on the same LSM project, so which improved the margins substantially in the year FY22. Besides that, even with IAA Group, other than the MRSM project, which we are concentrated in FY21,
we are adding more value-added product into the books, and showing our technological the capacity, and give a map of quality and services we are doing it. So year on year, we are improving our. It has been mentioned in the RHP that 2022 we are making a good progress on the side, adding more products and more services to the OEMs.
I get that. So, Mr. Ramalingam, so what could be the margin band which a street can look at, a stable margin band? Because will we see fluctuations or volatility in the margin band, and it will depend upon case to case or order to order basis, or is it going to be a constant one? What is the kind of average margin? Because as I see the margin band, if you're working directly with overseas OEM, it's much lower. But when that comes into domestic market, you get a higher margin.
Exactly.
Cable and wire harness, we are not looking major shift in the whether domestic or this thing. Fairly, we are maintaining about 5 to 6% in the profitability variation. Is not much like OEM we get less and domestic will get more. Nothing like that. And the cable and wire harness fairly almost fit into the same lesser 5 to 6% variation. Otherwise, nothing.
Mhm. And when Mr. Rao spoke about this 2,600 crores order book, um, how much of that, and he said it's spread over 2 years, how much of that what is the kind of margin expectation which is there? Because for you, you have you have this currency also which is coming into play, which is here, right? So while you're are you getting only supplies from overseas, or is it domestically supplied to you? If in that case, then you have an currency fluctuation risk also attached to your balance sheet.
Now, in overall, our whole pattern where we are sitting in SEZ, entire my domestic supply or the foreign imports, everything will be done with the dollars only. So I'm getting PO in dollars. I'm buying the material in locally also in dollar and importing in dollars also. Hence, natural hedging has been taken place. Whether gain and loss for me is not much difference in the purchase and the operational wise.
Mhm. Mr. Rao, there's a talk about the new SEZ policy which allows you for rupee-based billing as well, which comes into play. How will that help impact the company? If Mr. Ramalingam can give us some perspective
No,
on
in
it.
SEZ policy, there is a nothing that is an option to go sell in the Indian rupee, right? Not only for restriction, we can do SEZ also. There is SEZ policies, maybe going to revive later. In the SEZ, we are allowed to do only EOU to EOU transaction or a duty reversible in the domestic area, and you can do only exports. Now, in the new policy, the government is thinking to make the SEZ also can execute the domestic where we can rupee also will be operated. So I'm thinking that the majority of my billing will be in dollars, and of course we are allowed to bill in the rupee wherever it is duty will be saved and the flexibility in the duty structure will be maintained as per the Custom Act. So that will not going to impact much on that.
Mr. Ramalingam, can you give some more perspective on how currency may have impacted in some way? Because I know it's you have a national hedge, but in your balance sheet, how does it impact much?
See,
No, I wouldn't say there is impact in terms of the, see, basically because ours is a very unique model, Mr. Sajid, in the sense that all our transactions happens in US dollars. And when we have to report as per the Indian accounting standards, then we have to follow the restatement of accounts of the dollar accounts into Indian rupee. As per the, so there is a section called AS11, which is the forex translation thing. So we pick up a particular date of the last date of the financial year figure from RBI to restate that figure to give the notional value of where exactly the financials stand. So to that to that effect, I think we may see the variation in terms of the figures while reporting, but it doesn't actually. It's mainly notional in nature. It doesn't really impact the profitability or otherwise in terms of the company's concern
Mm-hmm.
because of the natural hedge. It is the accounting requirement and the standards which necessitates a restatement as per the policy.
Mr. Rao, you have seen a steep growth in revenues in the last 2 to 3 years, from 400 to 600 to around then 1100. Do you see the same kind of growth rate going forward as well?
hopefully, sir.
And the margins would be similar to what you have been there, or there is enough room to expand the margin internally.
Of course, every industry work towards the margin improvement. We are also same thing. We are working on it.
Okay, gentlemen, it was a pleasure talking to you today. The DCX Systems IPO, which opens on October 31st, is priced between 197 to 207, giving it a market value of roughly 2,000 odd crores at the upper end of the price band. Thank you very much for watching IPO Adda.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste.